Welcome back to another video. This is the Capstone Review. So in this video, we're going to spend some time reviewing your Capstone assignment. I'm going to use Omiad. He has given me permission to use his plan to demonstrate and do this tutorial to help you understand what I'll be looking at when I review and grade your Capstone assignment. So this video is got a couple of purposes. Number one, if you're about to take this course in personal finance, then this is a great video to watch so that you can kind of begin with the end in mind. So what you're going to see is a completed plan with all of the data cards completed by the student, which generates a financial planning report, which is what I'm going to use when I review and grade your final Capstone assignment. So let's jump in, and I'm going to be going from screen to screen, and we'll start with a PDF, Omiad's financial plan, the output from the software that we used in your financial planning portal at BayRock. So this is going to be a great example of what's in a financial plan and how you can manage the data in such a way to give you a very clear, comprehensive picture of your financial situation and make really good choices, because you get to make changes that will show you what choice A looks like compared to choice B. Excuse me. So I did a quick review of Omiad's plan, and I'm going to just jump right in and show you the plan. So first of all, let's just go through the PDF, the report, and we'll see, by the way, there's 43 pages to this report, and I've eliminated several, so you won't see all of them. You see there's probably only 36 pages right now, but what I want you to realize is, so now we're looking at the balance sheet, and we're looking at the balance sheet in the report, and now if I flip over to the actual plan, here I am. What you're seeing there is Omiad's planning portal. Now I have access to his portal because I'm the advisor. So this is the way it works in real life. The client and I work together to make sure we get the right information into the planning portal, into the software, into the plan, and then that data ends up in a report. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to walk through, and you're going to get to see what it looks like on my end in my advisor dashboard, and we will go back and forth. But first, let me just go through the entire plan. So we start with the balance sheet. We get into the details. Again, these are the same details that we see on the screen. It's just one is in a report and one is in the actual planning portal. So we will get to review this. You see up here again, I'm looking at in the portal, you're looking at my dashboard. We have liquidity, we have the budget, we have the debt, and in this case Omiad doesn't have any student loans, and then we have tasks. So this is where I can add tasks to help move your plan along. Right now there are no tasks in this plan, so I've deleted those 2 pages from the report. But if you just notice, as we go through the report, now we're back in the PDF report. So we left off at liquidity, and so the data card that was completed in your portal now shows up here, and now we have a budgeting summary. This brings the information over from the budget data card into the report, and then we also have budgeting details, and I'm going to jump into these data cards here in a minute in the portal and show you some things that I think will be very helpful. But I just, right now, for the first few minutes of this video, I wanted to just highlight that we have the same information from, here we are back in the dashboard, the advisor dashboard, and we have the same information here as we have coming through in the report. So that's really all I wanted to show you. If we go through this entire report, Again, it's 36 pages. I'm only on page 9 at this point. But you will see here we have asset allocation, the current allocation, and the target allocation. And this is where, as an advisor, as an investment advisor, if you were my client, I would be able to see what exactly you have in your portfolio, and then I would make recommendations. And I'll show you those recommendations, and you will be shocked. Just in this one area, in asset allocation, you're going to see that by changing this allocation, it's going to significantly impact this plan. I should have mentioned when I started this tutorial that one of the main objectives, the reason that this tutorial is being put together, is because several students found that when they inherited $1 million in the last week's assignment. They inherited $1 million, changed their birthday to become 58 years old, and Omiyad has done that. And I'll show you that here in a minute. But anyway, you came up with 0 probability of success in the retirement component. And so that will make you have a very bad result when it comes time to do your capstone assignment if you have a 0 probability of success. It means you basically missed the major points of your financial planning engagement. So I'm going to show you how to fix that, but it's going to be, I think it's pretty cool when you start to see that each of the assignments we've done up to this point, each one, and most of you really got it. So in this video, you're going to get to see how those pieces fit together. And one of them, which we're working on this week, is investment strategies, which includes asset allocation. Asset allocation, again, is one of the 4 investment strategies designed to help you maximize returns and minimize risk. Asset allocation, by the way, is the most important determinant of your portfolio's results. And I'm going to show you that in a way that's going to be very clear, and it's going to help you see how we can take your plan from a 0 probability of success to a much, much higher probability of success with just that one planning change. Obviously, depending on your investments, that could mean a little bit more work, but changing the asset allocation is significant. It's just one piece of the puzzle, but I wanted to point that out because, excuse me, the purpose here is to help you take your plan from a 0 probability of success to a much higher probability of success. That's always the plan. We identify the goals and we work through some solutions. So that's what we're going to do. So back to the report. This is your capstone assignment report, and it just goes into more detail about equity, sector, and style. This just drills down into the investment holdings. So do you have a concentrated position? Omiyad does not. He's diversified. Tax allocation. Now this we haven't even covered yet, but we're going to talk about the 4 buckets of tax advantaged investing strategies. We're going to talk about how your investments work and what the results would be if you put them in the right tax buckets. So it's part of your report here. It's going to be one of your last assignments, is to take your $1 million inheritance that you just got and not only allocate the assets, but also allocate into which bucket it goes into. That's a big part of the course, is to understand tax advantaged investment strategies. So this is where the rubber meets the road, where you demonstrate that you understand the difference between a 401k account and an IRA account and a Roth IRA account and a non-tax qualified account. And so right now you see that Omiyad has $300,000 in a taxable asset, which means that's $300,000 in a non-taxable account. I mean a non-tax qualified account, which means it is taxable. which is exactly what it says. So you're going to get to see how that works in terms of impacting your plan and impacting, again, that probability of success. So then we see here OMIAD has 153,000 in a tax-free asset, which means a Roth IRA. So let's just keep going down. Then we have the big number here, the retirement analysis, 5% of 5% probability of success. Now I want to point out, on the left side you see the proposed plan, on the right side you see the current plan, and what we're looking at actually is all the current plan, because we've made no changes. I've made no recommendations, and so it's both the same. We'll change that here in a bit. It won't change the report, but we'll go back to the dashboard and make some changes, and you'll see how it would affect the report. So then we have the retirement analysis. These are action items, and just moving on down, just want you to see what is involved in the report, what kind of information you can see. You won't need to pay attention to most of this, but you definitely want to pay attention to the items that we're going to go over in more detail here in just a minute, after I finish just reviewing the content of this report. So we get into the details of expenses, and you're going to have this report. So I'm going to put this exact PDF into your course as a material, course material, and you'll be able to download it and look at this report on your device while you're watching this video. That's what I would recommend you do. Anyway, you just see there's a lot of detailed information at the end of the report. So now let's focus on the dashboard. We don't even need to go to the end of the report, because this is just detail related to the inputs that we've already placed into the plan. So let's go back to the dashboard and let's really get down to business with what's going on in OMIAD's plan, and then ideally, and not ideally, but specifically what we'll do is we'll help get OMIAD's plan to a much greater level of success, higher probability of success. So let's start by looking at his profile. And you see here, as you look at this screen, you can see all of the information that I'm seeing. And OMIAD has changed his birthday to 4/15/62, which makes him 58 years old. And so that's all good. If we go to the net worth page, that's a good place as the planner. This is where I would be looking just to see what do we have in this plan in terms of assets and liabilities. So quickly, I see that we've got an $18,000 credit card. We've got a bank account with 157 grand. Bank of America, looks like this is a linked account, which is great. That means that this transactions from Bank of America are flowing right into OMIAD's plan, which is great. And then we get down to the investments, and we see we have a manual investment here of 153 grand. That is $153,000, which has been designated in a Roth IRA account, or a Roth rollover account. And it's got 8,000 in cash, 45 grand in international bonds, and 100,000 in emerging markets. So way to go, OMIAD. Sorry, my phone is ringing. I get this call 15 times a day. You probably do too, Mr. Spam Potential. Mr. Potential. I don't know him, but he calls me regularly. So sorry about that. I'm going to turn my phone off for a minute. I should have turned it off before. I apologize. So back to the plan here. OMIAD has 153,000 in a tax-free account, which is a Roth IRA. We'll talk about that some more in a minute. He's got a manual account here that he added. It's called OMIAD's investment account, and it's got 19,000 cash and a 401k. So that's good. it's good, but it's not great. And you'll see why. It's perfect, though, for this week's assignment. Omiad, you did a great job. You did exactly what I asked you to do. And you were generous enough to let me use your plan to illustrate how you get from 5% probability of success with $1 million in the bank to a much higher probability of success. And that's where we're going. So, by the way, this video is a little bit longer than most. So if you're like me, you probably can listen a whole lot faster than I can talk. So feel free to just view it on YouTube and go over to the little gear and you can select how fast you want this to go. Or you can fast forward it just by moving forward, but I don't want you to miss that much. So just listen to it at high speed if you want. So that's $19,500 is in this 401k. I have a feeling I know why it's 19.5 because I think that's probably what Omiad was thinking was the limit. That's as much as he could put in, and that's true for 1 year. But it's not true if you're 58 years old. You probably would rather have your money in that 401k as opposed to these other two accounts I'm going to highlight real quick. Because Omiad, this is curious to me. You have an account name of ETF and an account name of mutual funds. Now, I'm going to just pause for a minute and let you think about that. So that's not a very appropriate account name. A mutual fund is a type of investment. It doesn't tell me what kind of asset class it is, but it's definitely not the name of an account, mutual fund or ETF. So I know we haven't really spent a lot of time on, you have some homework to do, though, Omiad, because at this point you should know that a mutual fund is not the name of your account. It's a type of investment. So it's in a taxable account, 200 grand, and then the manual ETF again is a taxable account, 100 grand. So again, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's okay. But that $300,000 you're going to see in a minute is a bit of a problem because it's $300,000 that's not doing anything for you. It's actually not in a mutual fund or an ETF. It's actually in cash, which means it's not even invested. Even though you named the account ETF and mutual fund, it has no bearing on, where that money is and what it's doing for you. So that's fine for this assignment. Then we've got a loan and we've got some property, and we're going to jump into those here in a minute. So here we go. So let's just take a look at the retirement. We look at the retirement, we get a snapshot, we see 5% probability of success. Omiad wants to retire at 67. He's saying he's got monthly expenses of $3,800, and everything in terms of the proposed plan, the current plan, nothing's changed. So those are the basic things, $3,800 a month for Omiad to retire, and he's going to start his retirement at 67. So if we start making some changes here and we just make a few changes, let's see what happens. So first of all, Omiad, let's just see what happens if you retire at 71. If I hit refresh, if you retire a little later, I'm just curious, it gives you a 33%. So that's one solution. You could retire a little bit later. You could. Now, $3,800 a month is not much. So I'm just going to say you retire a little later and you reduce your income at retirement. Oh, look. If you could live on 24 grand and you waited till 71 to retire, you'd be right there at 100%. See how that works? But that's not very realistic, is it? Because you really, $3,800 a month, let's see if I can, 3,800 is really not that much. So I'm putting you back to the 5%. But let's look at another possible proposal that could change your probability of success. So all we're doing is looking at your retirement analysis and we're making some changes. Some recommended changes. So let's look at asset allocation. Remember I told you in terms of investment strategies, There are 4 of them. Diversification, which, Omiad, you did a good job. You're diversified. You don't have all your eggs in one basket. You have way too many eggs in the cash basket, and we'll show you why that matters here in just a second. The second strategy is asset allocation. It's the most important one. It has the biggest bearing on the returns in your portfolio. The other one, the third one, is dollar cost averaging. And that one just helps you manage risk and return over time. So at 58, it's not nearly as powerful as it is in real life for you. So I'll show you, well, I won't show you in this video, but I will be showing you how that works in the next few videos. So then the fourth strategy is portfolio rebalancing, which is what we're going to do right now. We're going to rebalance this portfolio, or really balance it for the first time, to show what would happen if we went to, let's say, I'm going to think, Omiad, you're probably not a most aggressive investor. You're probably not even aggressive. Maybe growth, but let's just go with moderate to be safe. So I'm going to hit moderate, and then I'm going to refresh. And this just basically, remember, what we're doing is we're taking those investments that you've already got because you inherited $1 million and you've got like 300 grand of it, well, more than that, in cash, which is doing nothing for you. In fact, inflation is making the value of your money go down. That's truly what's happening. So in your plan, if I was your advisor, I would say, let's take a look. If we just put you in a moderate portfolio and I hit refresh, we're going to go from 5% to 77%. Wow. That's not bad. Let's just see if we went from moderate to growth, which means, now I got to say, if we jumped back and looked at your investments, what you did choose to invest in was really risky: emerging markets and international bonds. So you either don't really understand the risk profile for those two asset classes, or you're okay with a little risk. So I'm going to say growth and hit refresh, and then I'm going to sit back and see what, ooh, 81%. I'm just curious now, what if we made you an aggressive investor? At age 58, I'm not sure I'd want to do that, but I'm just curious. Oh my, it doesn't change much, 2%. So I'm going to go ahead and put you back at moderate. And I'm going to, now if I'm the advisor, if I'm your financial advisor and you're paying me to give you fiduciary advice, my advice to you is going to be, you need to at least move your portfolio to moderate. And so you'll be able to see in your plan what that looks like when you just take a closer look at your report. When you want to see asset allocation, you'll see which asset classes the computer selected for you. It's a modeled portfolio, but it'll give you a very good idea of the different asset classes that would be appropriate in the context of recommendations for a moderate investor, okay? So you make the changes and you'll see that on your Capstone report. Right now, I'm not going to jump in and show you that, but I am going to say, let's take a look at another strategy. So we made one change that actually produced, it moved the needle significantly. Asset allocation does that. Again, it's the most important investment strategy that determines the return on your investments, asset allocation. So now we did this assignment called Credit Crush. The whole point of that assignment, Omiad, and everyone else who's watching this, if you haven't done the assignment, or if you're watching this video as a preview to the course, then I promise you will get to that point, and hopefully you'll remember that Credit Crush, the assignment, was designed so that you could go and play with debt repayment strategies. So in that assignment, Credit Crush, I invited you to go buy your favorite car, like whatever you wanted, like a super cool car, and go buy a house. Oh, Omiad, you did that. I didn't look at what car you bought, but you bought a house. I think you bought a car. I'm going to assume you did. And then I said in the third part of that assignment was go on a spending spree with a credit card. And then I wanted you to play with this feature that I'm about to show you that's an important part of your plan. And I want to jump in and show you that now. So it's called the debt strategy. So before I jump in and say we're going to do the not the distribution strategy, the debt proposal. Let me just show you. First, I'm going to hit this. I'm going to say, okay, let's make this one change. Instead of you paying off your debt according to your current plan, and I'll show you that current plan in just a minute. If we just make this one change and I hit refresh, it's calculating, wait for it, 94%. Now, that may not blow your mind, but let me show you what a small, insignificant change we just made in terms of your cash flow and how it made a massive difference in your overall financial future. Let's jump right in and look at, we'll go to your dashboard and we're going to take a deeper dive into your debt. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, here's how you had your plan set up. If you go into your plan right now, I'm making changes in real time to your plan, Omiad, but this is what I came to see when I jumped into your plan. So this is your debt. Let's look at the payments you've got. You've got your house mortgage, your car loan, your boat loan, your Bank of America Cash Rewards signature card, and your credit card number 2. So I'm looking at that and I'm going, wow, 23% interest rate. That's a big interest rate, but it's only $59. Can't do much good there. Pay the $59 off, obviously. And then we've got this boat loan at only 4.1%. That's a great interest rate for the boat. And then the car loan, 2.99. That's a Tesla Model 3. It's a great interest rate for that car. And your home, that's a really good interest rate. Minimum payment $1,410 and you're paying $1,975. That's good. That's good. That's good. But here's the problem. When we look at the details, we see that the ending balance on your mortgage, it's doing what? It's going down. That's great. That's great because you're paying more than the minimum. So awesome, awesome. Good on you. What about the Tesla? Same thing. You're paying $6,300 and your interest is going down. That's good. Good on you. It's all good. Back to now to the boat loan. Same thing. I see what I want to see. Your debt is decreasing. What's next? Your Bank of America cash card is only $59. Way to go. You're paid $1 interest. Okay, I wonder $1 on a $59 balance. Think about that in terms of percentage. But here's the one that's that really moves the needle. And trust me here, I'm about to show you something that's really a small detail that has a huge impact in your financial plan. It's only 18 grand here. And your whole net worth was well over 500 grand. So think this is the credit crush assignment, like focus time, because you clearly missed the whole point of that assignment. And I don't want you to miss it because it's one of the most valuable parts of this whole course is to understand how credit cards work, how credit works. And you missed it. And I want to make sure you get it. And I'm going to do that right now. So look at this. Your balance is 18 grand, but that's the beginning balance. What is the balance doing? Look at that balance. What's it doing? The ending balance is not going down. In fact, it's going up, and up until in the year 2053, instead of 18 grand, by paying what you're paying, $200 a month, it's going to go up to $862,000. So what do we do to fix that? So we go back here to the strategy. We go to action items, and instead of saying the same priority for all debt, we're going to say let's take the highest to lowest interest rate. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit refresh and look at the number, the total savings. on an $18,000 loan, you're going to save $937,881 over your lifetime. And you're going to be debt-free 278 months sooner. So that's a no-brainer. That's the Credit Crush assignment. That's how you pass that Credit Crush assignment. So again, in the final Capstone assignment, which is coming very soon, these are the things I'm going to be looking at. Your probability of success. Did you allocate your investments in appropriate ways? Did you break out your investments in the right types of accounts? Did you deal with the credit strategies in such a way that you didn't leave yourself upside down the way you were, Omiad, before we did this planning session? So there's more to it than that, but those are the big ticket items that I'm looking for. And so when I print out your Capstone Assignment Report, I hope you've taken the time to review this video so that you understand what I'm going to be looking for, and so that you know how to go into your plan and make a few modifications so that A, you pass your Capstone assignment, and B, you get the importance of a little financial planning that can make a huge difference in your life. It's the whole purpose for this course, and it's a purpose for this video. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.